You ready?
No.
What's up?
Hey,
What's going on, everybody?
welcome back.
We're back to discuss Game 4 and tomorrow night's Game 5. Start off by talking about last night's game that the Celtics lost again, so they're down 3-1, 112 to 109. The Celtics played like garbage in the first half. That's why Miami won. Well, not the only reason why. But it doesn't help when the leading scorer gets 0 points in the first half.
What? It's not fun. It's just the couch.
There you go. So, they played like garbage in the first half, and they played well in the second half, but by that time it was too late. And it was a Tyler Hero. He was just unbelievable last night. I don't know if it's the most points that he scored in the NBA so far, because he averages like 13 points a game. He scored like 37. I think he was hitting everything, which is, I don't think see that happening again. Even though for the Heat, this kid's been keeping him in this series because he's been consistent every single game. Whether it's the fact he scored 37 or scored 14, 15 points but most shots, like he doesn't miss a lot of shots. Like he's a high percentage shooter, I would say. He doesn't make a lot of stupid shots, I guess I should say. He makes might not take a ton of shots on most nights, but the ones he does take, they go in for the most part. Mm-hmm. I don't know what percent shooters, but so far just from watching, looking up his stats, the actual numbers from the series, he seems to be one of the few consistent ones. Butler he doesn't seem to be a high scorer, but he kind of feeds other players. That's what I get from it. He's just not that player's going to give you a ton of points every game. I don't know if that's how he's been all season. Since I don't really follow the Heat that much, I don't know if anybody else knows. They can just let us know.
Yeah.
What's the other guy's name? Bam. I forget his name.
Adebayo.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty good. I think he got hurt last night.
Yeah. He injured his wrist, I think.
Yes, but they said that he's supposed to be good to go for tomorrow night's game. So Miami just been really. I mean, they really played really well. Last night's game. The other games, the Celtics kind of fell apart at the end, and that's why he won. But because they controlled the other games, even though they lost 2 out of 3 of those games. But last night they were definitely just not. They came out really flat. They weren't shooting. They weren't passing. They were taking stupid shots. Just everything overall. They all 3-4 starts had, I think, 3 or 4 fouls going into the third quarter, which is really bad. It was nice to see, what's his name? Robert Williams.
Yeah, Robert Williams did play a lot last night, which was kind of surprising to me because Brad Stevens usually only uses him for usually in the middle of the quarter or really towards the end, but it's only a minute. But he was out there for I would have to say at least 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
5 minutes each quarter. I mean, we have the time right here. You have to go up. He played. He played how many minutes last night? Where is it today?
12,
I'm sorry.
He only played 12 minutes.
12 and Tice played 30. That's not too bad. That's not really
but he makes a difference when he's in there. I mean, I don't know why.
Brad's seen there. Well, man, I could see why. I mean, if you go back and watch the highlights of him, he's not really a good shooter, but we saw a few times where he's underneath the hoop, and he actually almost blocked a shot close.
Yeah, there's one shot he did. Late in the game, he almost blocked one.
But he did get a lot of rebounds and which is pretty good. So he's improving. He's a good defenseman, but I just don't think he just has the shooting skills right now, and that's something a little bit worked on. But I think getting into the hoop and all that, he seems pretty good on, but maybe it's just the shooting part. Maybe that's why Brad.
He's also a long way to go, which is why I think he goes with Tice. Tice has more experience than he does. Obviously, he's been around for a lot longer.
Yeah.
Hayward didn't do a whole lot. I mean, he was consistent, but he just didn't score a lot of points. The Celtics just had a lot of bad shots and shots that they just weren't taking. It was passing too many times, taking too long.
Yeah.
The turnovers. I forget how many turnovers they had. I think they had 20 turnovers or something like that. I mean, you can't. And I think the Heat had 8. I believe I just have to. I'm not sure exactly what.
Celtics had 19 turnovers last night.
Those more than that.
No, 19. And Miami only had 2.
No, that can't be right.
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
8 turnovers.
So I mean, you can't play to have that many turnovers. You come out flat in the first half and expect to win, especially with Harrow's playing that well. I couldn't believe it's like the kid was hitting everything. The Heat should be glad that he's on their team because I mean he's only a rookie and he's playing this well.
Hey, the kid's only. They said he's only 21 years old.
Yeah, he kept he's the reason why they won that game. That's what I believed. I mean, he was really lighting it up last night. Do I think he'll do it again? No, I don't think it'll happen again. I think he'll go back to what he usually averages. I could be wrong, but I think it must be one of those nights where everything's going. It was like, yeah, I don't know. What was his?
What was his what?
14 21. So I don't know what that percentage is.
That's no, it tells you that's 40. Oh no, that's for the team.
No, that's for the team. 14.
So you got.
It's gonna be like 60% shooting, 65% shooting. I think I'm just trying to do the math in my head, but I know exactly the numbers. But it was really unbelievable. And he's like the main reason why they won that game.
I think it's just a lucky day for him.
You know, I wouldn't say lucky. I'm not gonna take anything. The kid obviously has talent, but he was really hitting everything, and he's why they won that game. Coupled with the fact that the Celtics turned it over almost 20 times. They played terrible in the first half. There was like no energy. It was like completely different than even people noticed in the first half. When the first half even ended, the commentators was talking about how they didn't look like the same team from the last game. I don't know if they were expecting to just come out and just easily dominate, and they didn't. And I don't know, but it was really again like the Celtics.
I'm just so surprised that they only lost by 3. To me, it feels like they should have lost by like 10 or 15 points.
Yeah, they
got lucky.
Yeah, they were lucky they were still in that game for even at halftime. They were really. It felt like the lead that the Heat had was much larger than what it was because they were playing that poorly, and they were just making certain shots, key shots to keep them rather close, even though they weren't playing all that.
Even
well.
What's his name? Even Danny Ainge was pretty shocked too because he was talking about it this morning. I heard and. He's pretty surprised at that losing to this team, which I don't blame him. Well, I mean, he said like he's not blaming Brad Stevens for it. He's basically saying like these are good players on the team, but the problem is it's just they're having a tough time controlling the ball. That's the problem.
Yeah, they were trying to drive in. They didn't really try to drive in the first half.
They keep doing what they always do. Try and go for threes.
Yeah, and then they were trying the second half, and they were just losing the ball. I mean, so many terrible passes, just not holding. It was weird dribbling, trying to get inside, and they would just get the ball and take it away from them. It was really quite ridiculous.
And plus you gotta remember too. I mean, there were times where they were trying to go for threes or trying to get into the hoop. And it's like Miami's like swarming them. There's like 4 guys on top of them.
Yeah, they were doing really good defense-wise.
At one point, it was actually for a good reason. I think it was after the first half, when the second half started, there was a few times where the Celtics actually got some points in because what happened was one of the players would get swarmed by 4 points and they throw it back and then the guy just shoots it in because there's no one around.
Yeah.
And they tried that worked, but then, like you said, then they just fell apart.
Yeah, when they were doing well is when they would drive to the hoop, especially Jason Tatum going in, getting to the foul line, and then last night they didn't do that until halfway through the third quarter. So anyways, they said lost, and we have to look into the next game on tomorrow night. This will be game 5. This is a must win for the Celtics. Obviously, they're out. They really got to get going early, and don't let that hero take over the game. That's for sure. I know you have to worry about Dragic. He obviously you have to worry about him, and you have to worry about
Butler. Adebayo.
But that kid seems to be the more consistent player. Him and Dragic's a little not quite as consistent as he is. But they got to worry about those 2 guys. They drive to the hoop. It's not getting some 3-pointers. They haven't really shot that many 3-pointers, but And once they have shot, it's been just not going in or just overshooting it or whatever. But they get it, come out with a lot more intensity than that they did this past game. It just wasn't there at all, which is surprising, knowing that they had to win this game. So now they find themselves in a hole of 3-1. It's not impossible to come down from 3-1. Obviously, that happened in the playoffs this season already.
Yeah, with Denver, they were down 3 and they came all the way back and beat LA.
Yeah, I mean, if the Celtics play how they can play, because they have the talent, they have a ton of talent. For some reason, they just played like garbage in the playoffs.
They would have to overcome the rare possibility, because it's very. I mean, you look in, the history books and so many NBA games. Like, it's hard to win a playoff game when you're down 3 games. It's hard.
Yeah.
Because not many teams manage to do it. There is a lot, but there's not that many that are able to pull that off. And I'd be quite surprised that they can win 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I'd be shocked too. I'm almost ready to say that the series is over, but you never know. We'll watch more game and see what happens, and hopefully they don't lose and get knocked out. If they do, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Always next season.
True.
They definitely need help rebounding. That's the one thing I'm going to keep saying. Every year that they get a little bit better, but that's the one glaring problem they've had for I don't know how many years now. They get out rebounded a lot,
They
and they don't get a lot of offensive rebounds. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do. We're going to look forward to tomorrow night's game. Hopefully, the Celtics can get into this one and pull out a win. Again, going against a pretty good Miami team. We'll have to see what happens.
Yeah.
So, tune in. Maybe we'll do a video right after that one. Well, it probably won't be till Saturday. These games are ending pretty late.
Yeah.
So I might do a video on Saturday, depending on what the outcomes. If we're too salty, then we won't be doing. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, thanks for watching. Again, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe.
Until next time.